Parashat Vayera. Here's our dear friend, Mr. Overlander. One of the most fabulous parashiot, also known for its great questions in terms of issues dealing with free choice and so on and so forth. And since it's such a dominant aspect in the parasha, we're not going to talk about it. Maybe. If you would look in the parasha, you might come up with a similar, question that I had. And the question that I had is not how you all doing, but rather the conversation that Moshe had with HaKadosh Baruch Hu is very bizarre, at least in this parasha. And the Torah describes this parasha in quite in length. And not only that dialogue is repeating itself one way or another, almost like three times in a row. Moshe asked HaKadosh Baruch Hu kind of question, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu answer him. But if you would look carefully at the answers that God gives Moshe, you really see that he's not actually answering his questions. He's answering, but not his questions. It's like somebody would ask me, "Oh, what day is it today?" And then you tell them, "Oh, 5, or blue." It has nothing to do with the answer. Moshe claims, and the parasha says the following: "Vayomer Moshe el Hashem," and Moshe said to Hashem, "Stop knocking the table. You're making the people on the other side of it very dizzy." So Hashem says to Moshe, Moshe says to Hashem, "Bi Adoni. Lo ish dvarim anochi. I'm not a person of words. Gam mitmol, gam mishlshom, yesterday and today and the day before that. Gam me'az dabrecha el avdecha ki kaved perich ved lashon anochi. Even from the first time you spoke to me, it's not something new. I'm not a man of words. I don't like to use the word stuttering. I just like to use, I'm not a man of words. I'm not good with that." Hashem doesn't answer him at all. Hashem says, "Don't worry." And in the lines of the pasuk, "Vayomer Hashem elav, mi sampeh la'adam," who gave a mouth to man? "U'mi yasu mi'ilem o cheresh o pikeach o iver," who makes a person deaf or dumb or this or rich or me? I do that. Ve'ata, and now lech, you should go. And now I will be with your mouth, and you will speak what I told you. Again, Moshe says, he makes a statement. Moshe makes a statement and says, "I'm not a man of words." And the second time, Moshe complains. It says, "Vayashav Moshe el Hashem vayomer," and he went to him and he said, "God, lama herot al ha'am hazeh? Lama zeh shelachtani? Why are you making it difficult for these people? Why did you send me?" And it says, "Umeaz bati el Paro," since I came to Paro, ledaber b'shimcha, since I came to Paro to speak on your behalf. Hera la'am hazeh ve'atzeh lo insalta et amcha. Things became worse for him, and you didn't save the people. Hashem doesn't answer him, but he says to him, "Vayomer Hashem el Moshe," and God says to Moshe, "Ata tir'eh asher e'aseh leFaro," and now you would see what I'll do to Paro. Ki beyad chazaka yishalcham uveyad chazakam yegrasham me'artzo. And now you will see how we will take them out. That's not what I asked you. That's not what I asked you. So on the third time, Moshe asks again, and he says, "Vayidaber Moshe lifnei Hashem ve'le'emor." He says in front of Hashem, "Hen bnei Israel lo sham'u elai." The Jewish people did not listen to me. Ve'ech yishma'eni Paro va'ani aral sefatayim. If the Jewish people did not hear me, how would Paro listen to me? I am not a man of words. Even now, I might even dare to say, I stutter. Hashem does not answer. And not only doesn't give him, it doesn't answer at all. The Torah says, "Vayidaber Hashem el Moshe ve'el Aaron vayetzavav al bnei Yisrael." Moshe all of a sudden, Hashem all of a sudden speaks to Moshe and Aaron, and he commands them, "Vayetzavav al bnei Yisrael ve'el Paro melech Mitzrayim להוציא את בני ישראל מארץ מצרים." Go out and tell them, you guys are going out. He asks you a question. Why don't you answer him? And you could see from all these examples that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not, in a way, dealing directly or responding directly to Moshe's questions. I would even say even rejects them. In a way, for example, if you would ask me, says, listen, could I go out now? I need to go. And I'm going to ask you, where did you get this shirt? Listen, I want to go. What do you care? So I'm basically rejecting your notion, and you understand, okay, go sit down and work. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it seems like he's rejecting Moshe Rabbeinu, and for whatever reason, Moshe accepts that. Moshe doesn't say, hello, listen, I ask you a question, why don't you answer? Right? He doesn't do that. And it's very, very strange and peculiar. Why is HaKadosh Baruch Hu dealing with Moshe like that and doesn't answer him clearly? And again, how does Moshe accept it? I mean, don't you hear what he just told you? Ask, say, I don't know, do something. Doesn't make sense. And what does it have to do with us? What does it have to do with us as individual? What could I learn from this thing and some other things which I'm going to bring it up to you now, to our lives as a nation and as individuals? So I need to tell you the following. There is a certain human illusion, maybe even some sort of a fantasy that we all either do or sometimes we could observe, we could see it happen. And many times you see it, it's almost like a wish that we had, and you see it almost in every generation. If only we had an appropriate leader, somebody who's really good, we will go after him in hell and fire, in fire and water, if we only had one. And if we would have done this, everything would have been perfect. Everything would be fine. In other words, the problems that we have is because we don't have the right leaders. How many times you heard that? As us as Jews, if we had the right leader, if we had the right leader, Geulah would have come immediately. In other words, even Mashiach. And that's why I tell you all the time, and that's what the Rambam is so beautiful. Mashiach says he's not going to solve all your problems. But we say if we had Mashiach, everything would have been fine. Is that the right thing? Probably is, maybe. And every time, by the way, you have elections, whether it's elections in Israel or elections in America, anywhere like this, right away, everybody comes and he's presenting himself as the leader, the chosen one, and everybody is, and that is quite of the issue of leadership is quite problematic. Even Moshe, that was a Navi, a prophet, and not only was a prophet, he was the highest prophet possible, who took us from Mitzrayim and brought us the Torah, deals with the issues of leadership. I mean, it's so embedded into us that even rabbis would argue and fight and politics, who is appropriate, and I'll support this candidate and the other one supports the other candidate, and so on and so forth. Even rabbis could fall into this thing, right? And if you look at the problem of leadership, Moshe Rabbeinu wasn't just like a guy who came up from the grassroots. He grew up in the palace of Paro. He himself has a very strong and viable sense of justice. He saves men, he saves women, as the Midrash tells us. Later on, he goes to Ethiopia. He runs to Midian, and so on and so forth. But the question is all the things that he had gone through are really appropriate to become a leader? Is he the right leader? Is he capable of becoming a leader? So last time he said no. HaKadosh Baruch Hu told him, listen, go. He says, no, I'm not going. I'm not going. And he brings all kind of excuses and so on and so forth. And some Mefarshim and some Midrashim tells us that the reason why he didn't enter Eretz Israel was because of those reasons that he gave. I don't want to, I'm too fat, I'm too all this, I'm too, And all the people that we had, the Avot, even with the best example I can come is Avraham Avinu, right? When he was arguing with HaKadosh Baruch Hu regarding Sdom, you could see that he's saying, why are you going to do this? 40, 50, so, And you don't see Avraham Avinu being punished for that. Even when Moshe said, okay, fine, I'll do it, HaKadosh Baruch Hu tries to do what to him? The Midrash tells us, kill him in the hotel, on the way, in the inn that they were in. If it wasn't for Tzipporah, right, to save him, he would have been dead. And the question is, why? Well, did we miss something? Of course, there are different kind of excuses for that and ideas for that, but we'll try to see maybe there's something else that we can learn from that. It seems like that if you were chosen and we have to pay attention, if you were chosen by HaKadosh Baruch Hu to do a mission, and you're not completely, right, or you're not complete with that, HaKadosh Baruch Hu would remove you from that and will find somebody else to take the job for you. You want an example? I'll give you an example. Take Shaul. Shaul HaMelech was not complete with that. HaKadosh Baruch Hu removed him. Even before he died, he already nominated David, King David. So we see this all the time. And in our case, it seems like Moshe Rabbeinu is not going full-heartedly to this job to become a leader. And he has a lot of doubts. And only as we said before, only the quickness of his wife Tzipporah, that's basically what saved him by doing a Brit Milah to his son, and so on and so forth. And what's the Brit Milah to his son? The Brit Milah to his son was an act of showing, I am obligated to this people. I want to be a part of this people. Because that's a Brit Milah, that's a covenant. I want to be a part of this people. That's why I don't understand people who would not choose not to give their sons a circumcision. By you doing that, you're saying, I don't want to be a part of this nation. That's why it's so important. It's so important, it's embedded in us, that even secular Jews would do that. But to say, I don't want to, that's just the opposite of what Tzipporah did. We learned it last week. It's the opposite of what Tzipporah did. She, by doing so, Dafka the Brit Milah, she realized, she made a statement of, I want to be a part of this, and that's why I'm obligated to these people. So we would have think the Bnei Israel would accept Moshe and the message or the news that they're going to go to Mitzrayim and say, give him a ticket parade, and so on and so forth. And he brings him all the simanim, all the signs that his mission is from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But they don't believe him. They don't believe him. He gives them this, he gives them that, all the signs. And they don't believe him. And already we have a union representative coming to Moshe. Vayivgeu et Moshe ve'et Aaron nitzavim likratav. They're already waiting there. The union president, right, standing like this. B'tzatam me'et Paro, when they came out from Paro, and vayomu elehem, and they said, who said it? the Jewish Union leaders, to Moshe and Aaron, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will judge what you're doing. Why? Because you made us, Hevashtem et reichenu b'fnei Paro uve'enei avadav. You make us look bad in the eyes of Paro and in the eyes of his advisors. Why? Latet cherem beyadam. You gave the sword in their hands to kill us. That's what they claim. And by the way, many times we hear this also today. And that complaining brings Moshe back to the thing, to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and the pasuk tells us, "Vayashav Moshe el Hashem," and Moshe returned to Hashem. Vayomer, and he said to him, "God, why did you do such bad thing? Why did you send me?" And then, not only that you didn't save your nation, they also became bad for them. Now, what do you guys learn from this? Did you ever look at the symbolism of the message in which the Torah, the pasuk, is trying to give us? There's a certain symbolism that we always miss. What does it tell you? So if you ask the average, I wouldn't say Joe, but the average Yanko, right? It will tell you, the Jews were so, and things that I said myself years ago. They had so much work, they couldn't think of any spirituality. Now you're coming us with spirituality. What do you want us to do? Sing make a bonfire, sing Kumbaya? What do you want us to do? We have to go to work. We don't have time for you. Like sometimes you guys say it also. When I tell you guys, come and learn. I'm your, like your Mashiach here. I'm your Moshe Rabbeinu. I'm giving you the Torah. I said, listen, I got to go to work. I don't have time for you, Rabbi. It's the same thing, guys. Nothing has changed. But did you ever think about this? Most likely you didn't. So allow me to tell you what I can learn from that and maybe share it with you. When a person is not complete, is not whole with a certain action, his doubts are the cracks in which other people will oppose you. Again, when you are not complete with what is it that you know you should be doing, the lack of commitment to that will be the cracks. You open a crack in which others will prevent you to do what you need to do. I'm sure you all thought about this beforehand. Now you don't understand what I'm saying, right? Anybody understand what I'm saying? I'll explain to you. If you're going to, who's married here? All right. If you're going to ask your wife, excuse me, how come you're not driving? Because she would tell you, what? My husband's driving. By the way, when I go with my wife in the car, she always drives. No excuses with this girl, let me tell you that. But if you ask her, she's driving. I'm going to ask you, so what are your plans for your future? I really want to go to school. I really want to go to school. Go back to school, get my degree, finish my MBA, finish my NBA, NFL, I don't know, whatever you want to do, right? So, okay, so why don't you do that? The kids, I got to take care of the kids, I have to take care of that. Well, how come you don't come to Yeshiva to learn? My wife, I got to take care of her. Even though you didn't marry her, you already make an excuse about your wife. I have work to do, I have bills to do, I have to take care of my grandparents. Hello? I have to take care of my grandparents, I have to take care of my mistress, all the excuses in the world. Every excuse in the world. Now what happens? You are not complete in theory you would like to do, but you are not, as they say, gung-ho about this is what I want to do. Because if this is what you really wanted to do, you would do it. The reason why you don't do it, because there are cracks in your being. And therefore, other people come in, and since there are cracks in you have doubts in what you're going to do. I should do it. Do I really want to do it? And so on and so forth, right? Other people will tell you, no, you can't do it. We need to put our demands in. And if there is something that you are going to be very, very, gung-ho about, whether it's learning Torah, whether it's finishing your degree, whether it's whatever you want to do, the resistance is going to be, at worst case scenario, is going to be very, very, weak. If there's going to be any resistance at all. So the doubts of Moshe Rabbeinu, in the right reason for his job that God is sending him, are not really erased yet. He still have doubts. Should I go? Should I not go? They're going to listen to me. They're not going to listen to me. And then other things would arise. וידבר משה כן אל בני ישראל ולא שמעו אל משה. Why? מקוצר רוח ומעבודה קשה. And then the Torah tells us why they didn't listen to him. מקוצר רוח ומעבודה קשה. And now we need to really understand what does it mean. I mean, really, you can literally say it. You can understand Bnei Israel. As we said before, they're working very hard, right? They're working very hard. Mucho trabajo, no dinero. And Rashi understands them also. Rashi says, "Velo shamu el Moshe, lo kiblu tanchumim." In other words, I said, "Listen, azov oti Mashiach, Mashiach, Eretz Yisrael, azov oti, leave me alone. I don't want to hear this. There's no hope. We're gone." Rashi does not necessarily mean that they didn't listen to the fact of that they didn't hear what he had to say, but Rashi refers to the psychological state in which they're at, which was very low at the time, and that because they're spiritually and emotionally they were deteriorated, they couldn't believe the good news in which Moshe is delivering them. Guys, this is about to be finished. Of course, there's also a description of their physical state of affairs, right? Like a person who is choleh, right? He's a person who is sick. He said, "Listen, I don't know. There's no hope. I give up already. I give up." And that is mikotzer ruach. Mikotzer ruach. Rashi says, "Kol shu meitzer." Any person, mazel lehatzer, to be narrow. Kol mishu meitzer, rucho v'nishmato ktzera. Any person who is stressed, is under a lot of stress, his spirit and his breathing, like he's having an anxiety attack, or he's having severe asthma attack. Nishimato na'aseh ktsera. He can't breathe so well. Ve'eno yachol la'arich b'nishimato. You can't go, right? Same thing as you're getting a panic attack, or you're having an asthma attack. So and anxiety or panic attack would refer to your psychological state of being, or asthma will be, physical, or one will affect the other. And when the body is weak and you're depressed and you're already giving up, you can't really grasp the fact or to understand or to accept the fact that there's hope. There's no hope. No, there is hope. There's always hope. You are just not either able, capable, or want to acknowledge it. There's always hope. As long as you are alive, you could change. There's hope. Hope is done when you are done. And you must understand that. But later on, it says to us, the crack still exists in the job that Moshe has. It says, "Vayidaber Hashem el Moshe lemor." And Hashem spoke to Moshe, "Daber el Paro melech Mitzrayim." Go speak to Paro, not the guy you knew, the king of Egypt. "Vayishlach et bnei Israel me'artzo." And he should send the Jewish nation from Egypt. "Vayidaber Moshe lifnei Hashem lemor." And then Moshe said, "Be'emet, you want me to go to Paro? And bnei Israel lo sham'u elai. They did not listen to me. Ve'ech yishma'eni Paro va'ani arel sfatayim." Look what Moshe is saying to him. The Jewish people did not listen to me. You want me to go to Paro? Why? But he's not going to listen to you? No, you don't understand. The reason why he would not listen to me is because I am not a man of words. He's like, how do you call it? Call it this way: fat shaming himself, and he's putting the blame on that. Moshe Rabbeinu in a way does what we call a kal vachomer. In the Gemara it's kal vachomer, right? We're going like this. If Bnei Israel that's supposed to have emunah did not listen to me, how would a goy receive the prophecy, for me? It's impossible. However, you should know that this kal vachomer of Moshe Rabbeinu doesn't really make so much sense. Why? Because Bnei Israel did not listen to Moshe Rabbeinu because he was not a man of words or he was stuttering. That wasn't the reason. The pasuk tells us they didn't listen to him mikotzer ruach u'mi'avodah kasha. They were under tremendous amount of stress, not because you were stuttering. They couldn't understand that. So what are you comparing this to Paro? You're making a hypothesis based on the fact that Bnei Israel did not listen to me because they were under such harsh situations. Paro is not going to listen to me because I am. Okay, leave the fact that I can't speak. Okay, let's go like this. Argument's sake, let's say I'm Moshe and God is God, right? I said, listen, he says to me, listen, Habibi, go to Paro, go tell him, it's not going to work. Why is it going to work? No. But Israel did not listen to me. And I'm going to go to Paro, I'm overweight. What has to do with this? As they say in Hebrew, what machat has to do with pachat? What a needle has to do with an handkerchief more than this or that. I didn't want to say other things, but it looks the same. You know what I'm saying? He felt, Moshe Rabbeinu felt, the Bnei Israel are not really truthfully interested in being free. So he's basically saying it is impossible to give true and ultimate freedom to a person who's not willing to receive it. In other words, you want to go back to Mashiach. If you are not, I gotta do this to you guys, man, you fell right into it. I gotta do this to you. Anybody here does not want Mashiach? Raise your hands. Everybody's a tzaddik. Wonderful. Everybody wants Mashiach. Good. If we'll open the Rambam, and the Rambam says, based on the Gemara, what is the whole purpose of Mashiach? The whole purpose of the Messianic era, right? Not for the second coming of whatever never came. But the whole purpose is that Am Yisrael would live in their land free from the burden of Putin and all the other, Putins, right? To be free in the land to learn Torah. So if right now you are free to learn Torah and you don't, do not come to me and tell me that you are interested in Mashiach. Don't tell me that because I'm not going to believe you. When you come to Yeshiva and learn Torah, especially at your stage, you are experiencing the Messianic era. You don't have to worry about anything. Just sit down and learn. I don't believe a word you're saying like this. And that's basically what Moshe Rabbeinu is saying. And that is a tremendous drama or a tremendous obstacle. And by the way, if you're going to look at this now, go back to the union representatives that came to Moshe Rabbeinu. That's basically their claim. That's basically what they're claiming. So if you're going to take that words of Moshe Rabbeinu, you'll understand this sad part that really happened to the Jewish nation all the time, until our days. I say I'm not going to talk about free choice, but I'm going to talk about free choice. Free choice allows you to have meaning in your actions. If you choose to remove your free choice, your actions are like a cow, or a cat, or whatever that is. A cow, for example, cannot say, I wish I'll have some Kobe meat, like, I would like to taste the pain. I'm sick and tired of grass. Give it grass all day long, we'll be happy. Because that's all they know. We have a free choice. Free choice allows you to have meaning. Now, you got to think very, very carefully when you are giving up your free choice. And a person who operates from oppression is like a robot that cannot receive any meaning from his actions or to his action. There's no meaning. If a robot comes and opens the door for you, is there a meaning? It's a robot. Open the door. What do you think those electronic eyes that go like this? It's a form of a robot. You ever stop over there before the door opened up? You say, so Mimi-san, Mr. Red Dot, arigato, domo arigato, gozaimasu, whatever language you speak to, Japanese, Korean, whatever you want to speak to, right? Did you ever say, thank you, Mr. Green Light, thank you, open the door for me. Kamsahamnida in Korean, right? Shusher, Chinese, Shukran, Arabic, whatever language you want. You never said anything to me. Open the door. You expect to walk in. But some guy comes, open the door. At least you should, if you are a person of good deeds and common sense. It doesn't make a difference who it is. You open the doors for you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Because there's meaning to that. Ma'aseh Adam, the actions of men, have meaning. If you are forced to do so, there's no meaning to that because that's your job. And this is the great wondering of Moshe Rabbeinu. How is HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Say, listen, Tishma, God, I don't understand that. It doesn't make sense to me. How are you going to take the Jews out of Mitzrayim bekoach gadol ubeyad chazaka with great force? How are you going to take them out of there? They don't want to be free. How are you going to take them there? Is there any meaning to this freedom in which you're going to take them out forcefully out of Egypt? Are they ever going to be able to be redeemed if they don't want to be free? I mean, we do see it later on. It said, guys, I want to, Moshe Rabbeinu want to go back to Egypt when I eat cucumbers, watermelons, and fried fish, That's what are interesting. They didn't want to be free. Even in your own country, in our country, in Israel, the Holy Land, do we want to be free? You have to, Putin, it's a part of Jerusalem. Macron, that frog eater, yells at Israeli security because they enter a French church. It's a French soil. Lech mi po, stupid Frenchman. Jerusalem is my country. I want to see, I'm going to go to the Bastilla. I'm going to say, that Jewish property, I want it back. How about the Queen of England? She wants a piece of Washington State, Washington D.C. What are they going to give her? Bonkers they're going to give her. Nothing. Do you really want a country if you give it back? That's the problem of Moshe Rabbeinu. And listen, we almost, in Israel, you see right now before elections again, because there's nothing else to do, It's fascinating. If you're going to think about it, Israel has 3 elections within 1 year. And people cannot decide who they want. It's exactly, equal. It means they don't see anybody fit. They don't want to be free. Same thing in America. Soon they're going to be. He's the leader. He's qualified to be a leader. He's not qualified to be a leader, and so on and so forth, right? And but the question is again: is the solution for your problems to finding an appropriate leader? I have news for you. It ain't. The answer is no. And that is an eternal question that we always deal with. And we deal with this especially in this Parashat HaShavua. Do you really want to be free? Do you really want to fulfill your purpose? Do you really want to be redeemed? If a prophet will come to us, or Mashiach is going to come to us, and he's going to scream on top of New York Times, New York whatever, New York Square, Times Square, right? Yeah, I'm Mashiach, I'm this. Is anybody going to listen to him? I'm going to say, listen, buddy, you go, I'll be right back. You just go, don't worry about it. Just leave me alone. I got to make some money here. I have houses to sell. I have buildings to build. I have this to do. I don't have time for this, Derech Eretz, Torah, Lechem, Torah, the same stories everybody will tell you all the time. So if you want to be free, I'm going to ask you a question. What is really freedom? And why did HaKadosh Baruch Hu answer Moshe, as we said before? He did answer Moshe clear answers to teach us a very important and fundamental rule about life. When a person is difficult and things are difficult for him, things don't go smooth, all of a sudden he has questions. And most of the time the questions and doubts that he has are questions of emunah. Does God really, does God really exist? Can he make a stone bigger than him that he can? Stop with this nonsense already. Right? Always questions like that. Always question about hashgacha pratit, divine supervision or individual one. Well, if God knows what I'm going to do, so therefore how am I really free of doing what I do? Do you want to be free, yes or no? Why all these questions, And you should know that many times, exactly in those moments, those questions come to you, and it seems to be to you like, wow, if there is a cat in the box, do you really know he's alive or dead? I don't care, there's a cat in the box. I really could care less if he's alive or dead. You said to Amazon, you said, I get a dog, I'll tell you this, לא מעניין אותי. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And I'm sure you all went through the stages. Dafka in those moments, specifically in those moments, you should know the last thing you should do is give him an answer. The answer is absolutely not needed. Because what you need is not an answer. And that's what Moshe Rabbeinu, that's why HaKadosh Baruch Hu understood where he's going, and that's why he did not answer him. He answered him something else. You don't need an answer. You need something else. And what you need is closeness to Hashem. And by the fact that you're actually talking to Hashem, and Hashem is answering you, something that doesn't make a difference, that by itself is the best answer. If you know how to speak appropriately with God, there are not going to be any more questions. Can you make a stone have a bigger, how old is the universe? Is it 15 billion years? There's no questions. When a person is far or making a distance between him and Hashem, all of a sudden the questions come. Remember I told you the excuses for other people? That's the same thing, that's those questions. What forms those cracks are those questions that you have. When a person gets close to Hashem, he doesn't have a problem. He understands. It's a totally different relationship. It's a very intimate relationship. And by the way, this is the story that we find in Sefer Iyov. Iyov has many questions about his tough situation, a difficult situation. His friends give him different excuses, It's this kind of a cheshbon, it's that kind of a cheshbon. The cat was not really a cat, only the cat's meow. It comes from Japan, it's the Hello Kitty. All kind of excuses they tell him. But Iyov does not seem to find comfort in their words. And then HaKadosh Baruch Hu comes to him, and he speaks to Iyov very simple words, very, and for whatever reason, Iyov says, oh, okay, fine, I'm okay with that. It says, Vayan Iyov et Hashem, Vayomer, Yadati, I knew, Ki kol tuchal, I knew that you could do whatever you want. Velo yivatzer mimcha mezima, nothing could be hidden from you. Whatever you want will be done. Leshem ha'ozen shema'aticha, vata enai ra'atcha. I heard you, and now my eyes see what you were saying. Al ken em'as v'nichamti al afar va'efer. Because of that, I have comfort on all the suffering in which I had gone through. To have connection, kesher, with HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the answer to almost all the questions. Why? Because by HaKadosh Baruch Hu, there's no question, everything is clear, everything is simple. Everything is clear and everything is simple. And so as David HaMelech says in Tehillim, of course, the very famous Tehillim, Perek 51. I hear 51, 52. Anybody wants to give me other numbers here? 23. What does it say in 23? Gam ki elech begetz al mavet lo yirara. Even if I walk in the valley of death, I won't be afraid. Why? Ki ata imadi. You are with me. How do I know you're with me? Shiftecha u'mishantecha, your comfort and your mazeshevet, your whip. I see comfort with whatever happens to me, whether it's something to lean on or something to be whipped with. You pay attention to me, I'm okay with that. And you could see that in a way, the curse of Adam HaRishon is not a curse, it's a bracha. You would say, and we spoke about it many times, God told the snake, he said, you're going to crawl on the earth and you're going to eat dirt. In other words, dirt there is everywhere. Maybe even in Alaska, I'm sure you can find some dirt under the ice, but there is dirt. To Adam, he says, you're going to be a farmer. And you know what farmers do? They pray. So by you going out to look for your work, for your food, for whatever it is, you're going to pray for me. The snake, I don't want to have anything to do with him. I'll give him, because I am God, I'm going to give him all the food he wants. Eat dirt wherever you go. I don't want to hear you. So even when HaKadosh Baruch Hu is torturing us, in a way, it's not torturing. He's showing us that he's around. We need to understand that. If HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't give you what you wanted, that's good. Why? Because now you can pray. You pray to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you understand that. I just, Baruch Hashem, I can pray. That's why you have to pay attention where you pray, what you're doing. You know, and that's what the Gemara tells us. A person should not pray like there's a burden on him. A person should pray because he wants to. It's precious. Don't say, like this, you know, and you already done Shmoneh Esrei. Sometimes, you know, I'm still in the first three brachot. I see people doing Oseh Shalom B'mromav and they're already going backwards, you know, like looking for stars. I don't know what you're looking on the floor. For diamonds, what are you done? You're talking to God, man. Develop this kesher with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. At the moment that you are attached and dedicated with your soul and your actions to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you're not going to see anything bad. Everything is good. Why? Because being dedicated to HaKadosh Baruch Hu removes from me all the questions and all the difficulties that I think I have. I realize they're not. Because I'm connected to Him. And therefore that kesher is the strongest medicine, remedy that we all have to have in terms of that. You should remember and understand, each and every one of us is a leader. And each and every one of us is responsible to lead and conduct yourself in the ways of Hashem. That's right. That's right, Rabotai. I learned this lesson from Uncle Moshe. Don't walk in front of me, I may not follow. Don't walk behind me, I may not lead. Just walk beside me and be my friend, and together we will walk in the ways of Hashem. It's a wonderful lesson. Instead of listening to all kind of like, idols, listen to Uncle Moshe. It's tremendous. I love Uncle Moshe. He's the best. So I really hope that all of us will understand and will internalize that, and will accept that, and will seek knowledge to God. And by doing so, we should be zoche, to be kashur, connected, tied to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, attached to Him and dedicated to Him wherever we will go. And by doing so, HaKadosh Baruch Hu it will be easier for us to understand the way HaKadosh Baruch Hu is dealing with us, to conduct with us. And therefore all the questions that we have, kol she'elatenu, whatever we'll ask will be removed, and whatever we'll ask for will be received. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.